I'm curious to know how we can create a environmental policy on unceded territory without the First Nations experts. I spoke with Tiffany Joseph today, and I was so pleased to hear her call in tonight and to express her experience of working on the committee, that it wasn't just time, that actually she felt a culture of colonization. And
Councillor Chambers, what we try to avoid is speaking about third people or third groups.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Chambers, I'm the chair and I'm trying to speak, if you allow me. Thank you. We need to avoid speaking about other people or other groups in the third person. I understand that there was a description of that, but it's incumbent on council to observe that. So please, as you direct your comments, which are valid, please avoid talking about third-party people or other groups. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In anticipation of being interrupted several times tonight, I have legal witnesses listening to the meeting, watching you. I'm just reflecting on something that I heard in the chamber, and it was a answer from our director of planning, and she had said that the map could in fact be published now, and that things aren't going to change. Was that what I heard? Was that what I heard, or is that wishful thinking?
Technically, we are at the point where within 2 days, we could publish the updated atlas. However, given the concern around the mapping, I just don't think that it's worth it at this point in time to publish, to let the discussion continue, allow people to explore it, and not make the publishing of the atlas or publishing it the issue, because it's really not. It's just an information reference document. So that is my recommendation at this point.
May I have the statement of where all of this concern for the mapping is coming from? I have not heard all of this concern.
The concern that I've heard expressed is some cases external, but in this case, and most importantly, the technical committee has provided a working group, a sub-working group, and they have voiced some concerns. So that is where we're certainly hearing it from, and I don't want to make it an issue. I want to make it an opportunity to explore them and then come up with a tool that is needed. And as I said, it's a reference map or atlas. We have all that information. If somebody wanted it, and we would certainly provide it to them. We just wouldn't be publishing the formal document itself.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hovansky. And just for the public record, I would just like to acknowledge that. So indeed, in the next 2 days, the Saanich Atlas would be ready for printing. But however, due to some external...
Councillor, this is the time for questions. It is not the time for making statements. So if you could restrain yourself to questions, that would be good. There will be a moment when you could make statements once we get the motions on the floor. So if you have a question, you can have the microphone. If it's not a question, then you cannot have the microphone. Do you have a question?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I'll just reformulate that. I'll just take a minute, okay? Thank you.
So what I'll do at this point, I'd like to do at this point is come to Councillor... Oh, do you have your question?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, please proceed.
Thank you. Please don't interrupt me anymore.
Councillor Chambers, it's the job of the chair to organise the meeting so that we stay on the agenda item. It's not an interruption. It's trying to guide council so we can get through the business of the day. If you have a question, you can have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm on topic. Please don't interrupt me. What I want to talk about is the mapping again. And did correspondence affect the committee's decision on whether or not, or influence the committee's decision, or put pressure on the committee not to publish the atlas?
And is that question to the chair, the liaison, or to staff?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's to the chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Chambers. No, the committee, the working group did their own analysis of the map and came up with their recommendation, or not a recommendation, but their decision not to endorse the printing of the 4th edition independently of outside influences.
Okay, thank you. And I just want to ask that last question to staff, and then I'm done for my question. So my question is was the correspondence, did that influence, I understand that you, Ms. Hosmansky, don't feel that it's important at this time to publish it or not, and we can carry on before we publish it as we further refine the details. But I'm just asking if any of the correspondence or anything had anything to do with staff's reluctance to, well, it wasn't really staff's decision, but staff's inspiration to publish the atlas.
No, I'm not privy to the correspondence. I'm only privy to the comments provided by the committee. I think they're valid, and I think the opportunity exists to explore them and come up with whatever tool is appropriate to use rather than the reverse. So we certainly support the delayed publishing of the atlas at this time so that conversation can take place.